Yeah, good morning, everyone. Yeah, last session we learned about routing. So everyone practiced up to this routing concept. So in routing, we learned about the basic routes, route components, and we learned about route parameters. So how to deal with basic routes and route parameters, these two we learned. So after understanding these route and route parameters, so we have another important now. We need to learn about child routes. How child routes work, we need to know about the child routes. So route parameters and the child routes. What is purpose of route parameter? The purpose of route parameter, a route parameter allows to transport data from one component to another. Not only that, it allows to query any content directly in the component. In a component, in order to query any content directly, we can use route parameters, or we can navigate user and we can transport data by using route parameters. Now let's see how child route works. Actually, in our example, so let's take the example. So in this example, we designed simple routing. Right. In this, in the first page, it will open the categories. When you select the category, it will get the category related products, some network error. Axios request error. Where is the error? Okay, data is working fine. Last session we executed this products. We haven't made any changes now. Any changes we made in this products category? Access request problem. Where it is? Hmm. Products categories are there. Products are here. Problem is there. Right. Fine. So we are accessing the data, right? In this view details, it is going to get the details and display the detail. But now we want to implement another functionality. What is it? So we will display all these products. Up to here, everyone tried? Yeah. So here now in the products current you are watching products. When user clicks on details, I want the product details to display just beside. So we want the product details to display beside. Yep. So when user clicks on these details, the data should come here. That means in the same component, it should display somewhere. Then how do we achieve the child routes? Child routes or people also call as nested routes. So now what we need to do is in our app.js here, we need to create these details to work inside the category. That means we are accessing the details of that particular category. And these details must be inside this route. It should be inside this route. So how do we create the child routes? So let's see. To configure the child routes, same we have to use. So you can configure nested routes with parent and child hierarchy. With parent and child hierarchy. So route container can be defined with nested routes, can be defined with nested routes. Means like this we need to define. syntactically, we have a route, path, it is related to parent, element is related to parent component. Now inside this, we have a route, path is child, child component. This we can end if it is not having any child again, then the parent route ends. So we can configure the nested routes in this way. So the route path and defining the routes. That is next important. Let's implement this in our application. So what should happen is, here one more point is that now let's go to the products details. This is products category. Products category is showing which component? Fake store products component. So let's go to fake store products. Here I will keep this in two categories. Means just side by side we will keep it. This I will keep in a div, class as a row, and we have a div class as call3, and another div with the class as call9. And here we will paste all that content. That means the flex display, everything will be inside the left column. Okay. Now actually we are displaying everything in a column, right? And what else we can do when we are displaying in a column? Flex wrap and style, height as some 300 pixel. So it is going to display the height. We will keep the images also little smaller. Height. Okay, these are the images we are having. Details also, that's fine. Okay. Now this is outside. Inside. Okay, this is products related some data we are displaying like this. Now what should happen in this fake store products when user click details? The detail of this product should display here. That means now in the app.js, remove this route details. We need to keep the route inside the parent. In the products category, here we need to keep the child. That means now details is going to work inside this parent, right? Who is the parent here? Fake store products is the parent. In that parent, this fake store details will work. Details is going to work. But some more changes we have to do. So you see now when we kept this, I'm opening the first categories. I selected jewelry and I click on details. You see, when I click on details, the details is opening newly. We already discussed what is it. If already path which is there, it is removed and a new path is added, that is known as, if existing path is removed and a new path is set, then that is called as absolute path. If we need to add to the existing path, then we call it as relative path. Now it is working as an absolute path. That means now what we have to do, this details should be added to this path na, because it is a child. Then how do we do? Go to that link, details link. Where is the details link? This is the details link na. Here remove this slash. I already told you slash will put an absolute path. Without slash it is an relative path. Now okay. We have defined that. Let's see when I click here. So it is getting the path in products jewelry details of 6. But where to display that 6th one? We haven't allocated any place for this. That means in the same component where to display. I want to display here. This is called as, I told you, this is called as outlet. Remember, na? Outlet indicates where to present the content. This is outlet. So where is the outlet? Outlet must be here. Okay. Now see where the outlet in the 9, column 9. Here we have to put the outlet. Outlet. When you define a child path is going to render inside the parent. So inside the parent, where to render, we have to mention by using what? Outlet. This is important. Now you see it will come. But still problem is there. What is the problem? Observe now. I click on, suppose men's clothing. The products will come. I click on any product. We can make the photo also clickable, our wish. When I click details, it will get the detail and show. After that, important is when I click next product details, any another product details. Currently, which product we are watching? 2. I click the next product details and you see 4 is there, but its photo is not loaded. Now tell me solution. Why it is not loading? Because when the route parameter changed, component is not mounting again. Component is mounting how many times? Only once. When a component should mount, which component? This is details component. Na? Let's go to details component. Mount is use effect. When it should mount again? What is the dependency? Whenever the route parameter changes. Which parameter? Remember, it is an array. Array means you can have multiple dependencies. Which parameter? ID parameter. Na? That means now the dependency is what? Params. Params dot what? ID. That means whenever ID changes, automatically whenever the ID changes, it will change. You click on this, it will get that and show. Now I think we can remove this back to products here. Back to products not required because we are getting the data and displaying in the same place. Right? So back to categories is okay. And you see jewelry. It will get jewelry products. You click on any product, the product detail will come. That means it is going to show the detail here. I don't want view details button. I don't want this view details button in the card footer. Then remove it. I want that to happen on image click only. That means this image should be in which element? Link. And link should navigate to. It should navigate to what? Details. Into the details. Here. Here it should navigate to details. Into the details, it should pass the ID. I will put a dynamic expression into the details. So here we will put details. It is a string. So just directly details. Okay. In the details slash, we need to keep the ID. What is the ID? Oh, let's keep the details. Yeah. Details slash ID. ID is what? We need to append the ID also, right? How do we append? We will write a dynamic expression here. Complete dynamic expression we will write backtick details slash, what is it? ID is coming from product dot what ID. That is fine. Now you can see it is going to get the detail. Now the image is clickable. When you click the image, it will get the detail and display. So we can navigate from one location to another. Another point here, what we are doing, we are accessing any component and displaying in the same. This is done by using child routes. We selected suppose clothing or jewelry something. It will get the products. I click on the product and it will get that and display the detail here. That is a simple example of that. And we changed the dependency also. The details should load again whenever the parameter ID changes. Then it will get the detail and display the detail. So this is example of route. So what is one more option is child route requires an outlet. Outlet. So which renders, which defines the location to render target content. Child route requires an outlet which defines the location to render target content. Now, generally, how we define? We have to, this is the parent container. Inside the parent container, we have to use an outlet. Just syntax. I will share the example. So child route requires an outlet. Now here I already given some questions related to this. Already we discussed some questions. What are those? Relative path, absolute path. I given a question about it. What is absolute path and what is relative path? So here we used it. One important question asked is, what is difference between absolute and relative path? It is everywhere common concept actually. What is difference between absolute and relative path? So absolute path is independent and individual in reference. So it is not affected by existing route path as it removes the current context and adds a new path and add a new path and add a new path that is actually absolute path, individual in reference. So that is absolute path. So how do you define the absolute path? Suppose I will just give an example for your understanding. Existing path is like this. $3,000 products category. Jewelry, like this existing path. And we created a link to slash details. We have details slash to something. Now, what will happen? It will change to localhost 3000 slash details slash 2. So this is absolute. Absolute. So relative, how it works. So existing path is this. Localhost 3000 same products category slash jewelry and link to directly details. This is what relative. How it works, how it is added is localhost 3000 products category jewelry details of 2. Absolute path will remove the existing path and relative path will add to the existing. What is the difference while adding the path? The slash before the path is important. If there is a slash, then it becomes an absolute. If there is no slash, then it becomes a relative. Right. Another important question asked is, can we define multiple route outlets? Can we define multiple outlets? Why? Because many technologies don't support. Many technologies that support routing, they don't support multiple outlets. More than one outlet is not supported. Multiple outlet means what? Suppose I want this again here 2 times, below or beside anywhere. Is it possible? That means I given already outlet once. I will use another outlet here. Just below it, I am adding one more outlet here. That means you can see another outlet is also possible. But many technologies will prevent. The technologies that use routing, all will not allow multiple outlets. That is the reason this question is asked. Because experienced people, when they work in different technologies, their route outlets are allowed to use more than one. But some technologies will prevent. They say that only one outlet is allowed. So in that case, problem will come. Now, interviewer may ask you another question like, why I need multiple outlets? The question is, multiple outlets allowed or not? The answer is, in our React, yes. Why multiple outlets required? Why you want to see 2 times? If anyone asks you, explain one real scenario for this. Any real-time scenario for this? Question understood? Right? So, real-time scenario, everywhere we see it. For example, you logged into a website. When you logged into a website, your profile details are kept in multiple places. Suppose on top screen, they will give an option like sign out. At the bottom screen also, they give an option like sign out. So at the top, they will show your details, who logged in. Somewhere bottom or somewhere else also in navbar, you seen when you open any settings profile, there also your profile details are displayed. That means after you log in, your information is maintained in several places in the same screen. That means what they are doing, they are rendering multiple locations. Same information is rendered in multiple locations. That is possible and it is very much required in several occasions. So, what is the answer for this? Can we have multiple outlets? Yes, we can have multiple outlets. So, resulting resulting markup is required in multiple locations. In SPA. SPA means single page applications. Resulting markup is required in multiple locations in SPA. Hence, multiple outlets are allowed. Hence, multiple outlets are allowed. multiple outlets are allowed. Right. So this is the parent and child route. How you define the parent routes and the child routes. So what is the parent route? Parent route allows the child to be displayed inside the parent. For that, we need to know two concepts, absolute and relative, and how to use the outlets. That's one more question is that this is another important is how to configure dynamic navigation in a route, in routes. How to configure dynamic navigation in routes. Actually, if anyone asks the same question in HTML JavaScript, suppose we have a link anchor. Anchor have an href. This will go to home.html. That means through link, when user clicks, it navigates to that particular location. That's okay, good. But I have a button. For this button on click, I should navigate to home. How? How to handle navigation dynamically through logic? That means you see user clicks sign in. He will enter user ID password and click sign in. After entering user ID password, which screen will come? There are two screens, welcome screen or error screen. Which one will come? That depends on ID and password. If ID password are matching, it will decide to navigate to welcome. If not matching, it will decide to navigate to where? Error. So that means dynamically navigation is happening. In JavaScript, how do we do? In JavaScript, how dynamic navigation is defined? By using location.href. By using location href, dynamic navigation is defined. In JavaScript, what location href will do? It allows you to navigate to any page, any URL. So in JavaScript, dynamic navigation is defined with location href. Here in React, how to configure dynamic navigation? We have to do that by using use navigate hook. By using use navigate hook. Use navigate hook. Actually, this is a new hook in React routing version 7. 6 and 7, they use this. Earlier, we used to use a different hook called use history, but that use history is now removed. Now it is recommended to use navigate. That means see now. Means simple. What they are asking is, suppose back to categories. When user click back to categories, you go back to the categories, but not through a link. Don't put a link. Without a link, put a button. On button click, it should navigate. Later, we will create login and all. We will design login and all. So let's go to the details. Here we are having a back, yeah. Here we are having a back to categories. They are saying that do this without link. Okay, let me put a button here. So this button, we will say books. Okay, you see back to categories button is there. I will use class BTN and BTN some primary W100. So the button is there. Now back to categories, when I click, it should get back to categories. Generally button requires an on click na function handle back click. Okay. On this, it should navigate to a path. So if you want to navigate to any path, we have to import another hook. LET navigate is equal to use navigate. Use navigate is a hook. We have to import this use navigate. Use navigate is a member of React Router DOM. And we need to create a navigate reference. Now we have to use here navigate. Navigate uses the path. You have to just mention the path. Path is what? Path is slash. That's it. Because slash is our home page na, right? If it is any another, you have to write. It is our home page. So directly this slash. That's it. Now handle back click, on click. So handle back click. Now you see when I click on this back to categories, it will get back to categories. Dynamic navigation is managed by using, use navigate. So syntactically, navigate is equal to use navigate. Here you have to import from React Router DOM. Navigate uses a path. You have to path, params, everything you need to define. So navigate to any particular path. Dynamic navigation we have to define like this. Okay. Next important here, one more point is while working with routing, another important question is what are search parameters and how to access and use search parameters. What are search parameters and how to access and use search parameters? Route parameters, we know. What is this search parameter? How the search parameter works? Actually, when you use any website like Amazon, you see Amazon is already a React application. React application in this Amazon, you see this Amazon, I'm adding a parameter called slash watches. That is the route parameter. When I hit enter, you can see that to that watches, some more queries are added here. Some more queries are added. Actually, it is showing watches related data. Some more queries are added. These queries allows to exactly access what they are looking for inside watches also. These queries usually are also used by browser to understand what type of content it is trying to show. And remember, already we know that this is called query string. Query string is appended by using what? Question mark and ampersand. And you can see it is using UTF-8. Can you tell the meaning of what is UTF-8? Already you learned in HTML, na? HTML meta character sets. UTF-8 indicates that your content is presented in English, US, UK, any English. Generally, English language will have UTF-8. Other languages like Korean, Japanese, all these have UTF-16, 32. UTF-64 bits also will be there. For English as a language, Unicode transformation format, it will be what? UTF how much? 8. This is not required to understand, but the point is route parameters, along with route parameters, search parameters also used. Actually, such parameters refer to what? Query string. Generally in HTML, to access query string, what we do? I think already I showed you. To access query string, what we do? In JavaScript, to access query string, we use URL search. URL search params object is there. By using that, we can access the query string. For example, generally, so in JavaScript, what we do is, here I think I already showed you, we use URL search params. By using that, you access location search and it will get the query string and it will display. Now the same we have to implement here. So what are search parameters actually? Search parameter refers to query string. Refers to query string. You can add a query string along with route parameters. You can add a query string along with route parameters. Search parameter allows to transport more data from one component to another. Along with route parameters, you can add the search parameters. So how to access it? It allows to transport more data from one component to another. How do we define how we can access, let's see. So here we are using one simple example. Let's add one general example here. I will give a simple search demo dot what JSX export function and search demo. Return a simple container. Okay, here I just keep search demo. What I will do is this, I will add in the routing. in the route path, you will have some route path as search. Okay, and element, it will get us search demo element and it will display. Search is a simple route path. Now what should happen is whenever user clicks anything, it should submit to that particular location. Here, I will write a simple design. I will go to this search and I will keep that somewhere in the design navbar. Okay. In the search demo, I'm just adding a text box. Input type. We'll keep a form here. Okay. Okay. So input type is text. So name is suppose query. Okay. And we have a button. BI search. And BTN. Okay. Normal simple search demo is there. I will keep that in the address bar in the header. Where is that header? Fake store main page is there. App. Okay. Here I'm adding this one is search demo. You see there is a search demo here. I'm just keeping in the header. I'm searching for some content here. I'm searching for suppose say jewelry something. And I click on search button. When I click on search button, you see the data is posted into this location. That means it is posted in the URL. We can post it to any component also. We can post into any component. For example, when I click that button, data is in the query string. And what is the query name? Jewelry. Suppose here I given fashion and click on search. That means it will get the fashion. That means, generally form by default have a method called what? Get. On get method, when you submit, the data is submitted as the query string. For example, you see now I'm giving one more here. This is search demo. I will give another component. I will give another component results.jsx. Results.jsx. These are actually search results.jsx. Okay, export function search results. And return here a div. We keep this is search results. Okay. In the search demo, when form is submitted, it should submit this information to, it should submit that information to search results. How? The form data must be submitted to a particular component. How? In HTML, how you can submit the form data to any particular page? In HTML, how you submit any form data to any particular page? Form requires an action. Form requires an action. Action, it should submit to where? Slash. Suppose it should submit to which component? Component name. Component name is what? Search demo. Remember, that path must be result, na? That path must be configured here. That means what is the route? The route path. Route path I give as what? Results. Element. Element should be, which element it should render? Search results it should render. Search results it should render. That means it should navigate to slash, what is it? Results. It should navigate to this results. Am I right? That means now see what happens. This is the home page. You entered some content and you click on search. That means it should navigate to the results. Here the query string is passed. Now what we have to do, navigation is working now. Navigation is working. Now what we need to do, collect this query string and use it. That means data is not just passed always using query string parameters. We pass using query string. Mostly when you are expecting data to be submitted from a form, the form data can be submitted to server on get and post. When you submit on get, the data will be in query string, and from the query string we need to collect and use the data. Now tell me how to collect the query string here. Suppose if it is route parameter, we can access route parameters by using a hook called what? Use params. By using use params, you can access the route parameter. But this is not route parameter. This is called as what? Search parameter. This is called as search parameter. So how to access the search parameters? Generally, in results page, we have to access the search parameter. To access the search parameter, we have a constant. So that means we create one LET. Search params is equal to search parameters is equal to, we have use search parameters. We have use search parameters. This use search parameters, it can get the parameters. Later in TypeScript, you will understand so many technical points. You don't need to worry because you see, actually the search parameters, it is we use search parameters. It is saying that it returns a tuple. It is returning a tuple. That means use parameter is returning a tuple. Yes, you, any problem? Any problem in the seat? No? It's okay, no? Because you are jumping in. No? Seat is okay? Huh? There is no problem, no? Otherwise change to somewhere else. Okay? Chair is okay? Huh? So here it returns a tuple. Tuple we will see later. How do we handle the tuple, right? So what is the point about tuple is, actually you learned arrays in JavaScript. No? Array is a collection of, in JavaScript, array is a collection of different types of values in JavaScript. But in TypeScript, array have both behavior. It can have same type of values and different. There we have different names. I will tell you when you learn about that, because React, all library is built by using, complete library is built by using TypeScript. That's the reason you will see some TypeScript terms. So here tuple means any type of value. That means it is an array which can have different types of values. So here you see search parameter is a tuple. Why? Because the URL search parameter can be any type of value. It can be one value, it can be many, right? It is the tuple type, right? Later you will learn about that. Now let's see how to get this tuple and use it. What is the type returned by this? You see what is the type returned by this? We will use an use effect. Use effect. That means at the time of mounting, what we will do? At the time of mounting, we will log, what is it? Search parameters. At the time of mounting, I am logging the search parameters. You see now inspect. Let's go to the console. Search parameter is an array. And you can see array have two options. What is it? You have 0 index search parameters and you have 1 index. In 1 index, you can see it is showing some length is to name, argument. So many options are there. That means it is an array type and it is getting so many details related to that array. And you can see that is an array type. It is having so many details. You know, arrays usually have length and everything, right? Usually array have length. These are all array functions, array related functions. Now tell me how to access array, how we can read the elements from the array and use them. We can use deconstructing architecture, destruction, am I right? If I use destruction and you see the search parameter, I will refresh here, the search parameter. You can see that it will get the first one. And actually it is size 1. Such parameter is an array. Now this is an array. Array means I will pass 0. At 0 index, what is present? You can see there is undefined. Because actually such parameters, you have the method get and what is the key name? Key name is what? We have a key name. What is the key name? Key name is which one? Query, na? Query is the key name. Query is the key name. It will get that query and it will show. That means actually it is an array, but because it is designed as a tuple, it is using a map mechanism. Map uses which method to access? Get. By using get method, you can get the query string and we can use the query string. That means see, what I will show here is, means how do we access? We need to destructure it. And through the get method, you can access any query string. Simply you can use the query string. So what should happen is whenever, let's go here, I'm giving a search bar now. Whenever user enters anything in the search bar, like suppose electronics, and clicks on search, what should happen? It should go to results. There it should display the results of this electronics only. That means when I click on this, it is going to results. When it goes to results, here I need to collect the electronics and show all the electronic products. Let's write the logic for that. Now you collected the query. Query contains the category name, which category they want to use. How to fetch that category? By using what? Axios. Axios dot what? Get. What is it? https://fakestore api.com/products/ what? Category name. Category name is coming from, what is it? Search params dot what? Get, and the parameter name. Parameter name is what? Query. And its value will come there. Dot then what we have to do? Collect the result, response, and we should store the response in an array. So what I will do, we will create an array. Constant, what is it? Products, set products, and use state. The products is an array of object, na? I will get all this one. I will copy that. That means it has to get the array of object and show. Okay. Now I need to set the products. Set products. Now what is the data? Response dot what? Data. Now all those products details should come here. I will not display everything. Just I will keep a div class dflex. Here we give flex wrap also. Fine. Here we need to generate the products dot what? Map. For every product, what we do? For every product, we will create one image, img. Image source, I will keep as product dot what? Image. So width and height, I will give width as some 100. Height also I will give as 100. Okay, that's it. And I will keep class as margin x2. Okay, and it should have a key also. Product dot what? Product ID. And you see search result will show all electronics. Now what we are doing, I am clicking in the search box. I am searching for suppose jewelry. That is the jewelry, and click on this search. It should get the jewelry products and show. I am searching for electronics and I click on search. It should get the electronics and show. This time we are implementing by using search parameters. So what is difference between route parameter and search parameter? Search parameter is your general query string. When to use search parameter? When to use route parameter? What difference you understood here? We have to use the search parameter, especially when we are submitting data using a form. Through form, when data is collected in a component and it is to be used, then we have to use what? Search parameter. Without a form, we are transporting the data, then it is not transported as query string anymore. It is transported as what? Route parameters. If data is to be sent through a form, it can be sent only as a query string. And without the form, data is not sent as query string, then we have to transport by using what? Route parameter. If data is collected from a form and it is submitted, then we have to handle by using the search parameters. So we can have both route parameters as well as search. Remember, this results is what? The results is component name. In that component, this is the query string. Along with route parameters also, you can have search parameters. How to access the search parameters? By using use search params, right? So search parameters allows to transport more data from one component to another. The main point is it submits form data as query string. It submits form data as query string. As query string. So syntactically, suppose you have question mark, some name is equal to value, ampersand, some key is equal to value. Roughly, I am giving multiple. LET deconstructing search params is equal to use search params. So anywhere you want to access search parameters dot get and the name. That is the URL search parameters. So remember, all these are kept in one example. And this is example with ready-made API. Now we will use all this in our project. That means we will create one project In that project, we will implement all this. Means with our own data, with our own forms and interactions, everything we have to design. We can use JSON server or we can use the real backend databases and implement them, right? So here, first, all these I am implementing in one concept and defining it. And here, one more concept is, one more question here is, can we configure both route and search parameters in URL? Answer is yes. Use params for route parameters. Use search params. This is for search parameter, or you can say query string. So syntactically, suppose localhost, suppose 3000 products / mobiles question mark, some brand is equal to Apple, like this. So here products / mobiles. This is route parameters. So brand is equal to Apple. This is search parameters. The route and search parameters. Right. So the route and search parameters. So if anyone asks what is the DOM method for accessing such parameters? What is the DOM method for accessing such parameters? URL search parameters. Here I showed you now already. Which page? The result page. So here already you saw URL search params. That is the actual DOM method to access the search parameters. So URL search params. So URL search parameters, actually already syntax I given there. URL search params location dot search. It will get the query string. So if anyone asked you a question, what is difference between use search params and URL search params? What is difference? Both are used to access query string. Both are used to access query string. Then what is difference? Difference already, you know that use such parameters, use such params is virtual DOM method. Na? Virtual DOM method. And URL search parameters is actual DOM method. That is actual DOM method. Anywhere you see the word use, that means it is an virtual DOM method. It is an virtual DOM related hook. Virtual DOM and actual DOM. Right. So this is the point about routes. Now, here one more is there, authenticating route. Authenticating means securing the routes. Actually, we don't have any separate concept for that. We need to implement again third parties to handle it. Now we will create one example. That means now we will create one complete small app by using route and by using forms and by using the hooks we have learned. And we can implement more hooks now. So we will now try to design one project. We will design one app that is an to-do app. We will create one simple to-do application. After that, at the end, we will design one more project. So we will create one more application. One more application is related to some complex project like YouTube video, like video libraries. We will create one project so that we can understand all the concept of integration with front end and back end. So with the concept of routing and the concept of forms and any JSON server, now we will build one small app. We will create one simple application. What is the main target is to learn how to handle CRUD operation. CRUD operation means what? We must able to fetch the data, show the data, allow editing, updating, and delete. If we can manage that, that's perfect. So that we'll see next session. Tomorrow we will do that. So tomorrow we will start designing one app by using some database and interacting with the data. We will create a complete end-to-end application, right? Tomorrow we'll continue. Okay, right. And all this example I will upload as a zip file. That means this fake store folder is there now. That fake store folder I will upload as zip file. In that all these files code will be there. You have to implement that. That fake store and app. These two files I will upload, not entire project. Okay, for routing, you can see the code of these files and app.js and you can try this. Today, what we learned, how to handle dynamic navigation, how to use child routes, parent and child routes, and how to handle search parameters. These are important concepts. Okay, tomorrow we'll continue them, right? I have not getting any call. First, you have to check your resume.